Here at LifeWay Network, we provide safe housing for women survivors of human trafficking. Survivors live in community for as long as a year, sharing a home, a weekly meal, household chores, and special occasions such as group outings and birthday celebrations. LifeWay also offers therapeutic and life skills programming such as financial literacy, gardening, therapeutic art classes, and journaling. And our programming is facilitated by our social worker, Sabrina, whom I deeply respect. Sabrina is empathetic, skilled, patient, wise, and kind. And so thank you, Sabrina, for being here. I'd like to share your insights about your work with our community. So, can you start by telling people a little bit about what your work for Lifeway consists of?
Sure. Thank you so much for that introduction. My work at Lifeway kind of consists of a bunch of different tasks, but important to start with conducting all of the intakes and referrals with all of our partner agencies and collaborating with our social services and local law enforcement. I also maintain the referral tracking database. I provide supportive counseling to all the residents in the safe house and facilitate weekly therapeutic workshops. I also facilitate monthly community needs meetings, and those consist of like things that are going on in the house or stuff that the women want to talk about and giving them a space to voice some of their concerns. I also provide some support to the staff, and that includes some trauma informed care, educational materials, de escalation education and techniques. And I also provide on call support.
That's a lot. And I know it's really valued not only by the survivors, but by the staff, as you mentioned. Trauma-informed care is a topic that we talk about a lot at Lifeway Network, but that other people don't necessarily know about. Could you just give a really high-level overview of what trauma-informed care is?
Sure. So our women in the work that we do here in anti-trafficking, comes with a lot of heavy trauma that our women carry. So just making sure that we meet the needs of where our survivors are, making sure we're very in tuned with our tone of voice, with our body language, with the language that we use as well. Some of that stuff can be very triggering, and making sure that we lead with kindness and softness through all of our interactions with the women. And then understanding that something that we might find to be okay or in a tone that we believe to be fine could also be very triggering for somebody else. So just making sure that we're always in check with ourselves and leading with an understanding that our survivors know themselves best. And if they're reacting to the way that we're interacting with them, then we also need to kind of check ourselves on that and understand that their background and their needs are the priority.
Very well said. And I know from experience in speaking with you that you're very gentle in all of your interactions, which makes you such a gift and an asset to Lifeway Network. What kinds of challenges have you helped the survivors overcome?
Yeah, so I think like first and foremost is helping them reclaim their voice and power of choice. Addressing stigma and misconceptions often come with this work as well, because survivors sometimes struggle with shame and guilt or feeling unworthy of the support that we're now open to provide for them. Some other things are also like sitting in the unknown of like navigating systems and waiting for social services or legal assistance, housing opportunities, employment and financial stability. So providing education and filing taxes, writing resumes, interview skills, also accessing medical services and mental health services. I also see a lot of challenges of like family reunifications. Sometimes some of the survivors don't want to tell their families what had happened or help encourage and support them on telling their family what had happened. And then also learning how to navigate like healthy conflict. Sometimes living in community can bring up a lot of feelings and just how do you share a kitchen? How do you share a room? How do you share a bathroom? And how do you navigate that conflict in a healthy way? Because that's going to come up in all aspects of your life, even outside of community living.
Very, very true. And our survivors come with a very diverse array and range of life skills when they arrive. Some have been trafficked since they were very young and never had the opportunity to receive those life skills or trainings or establish credit, banking, and healthcare access. So you run quite the gamut there. What kinds of challenges do you face in your work as a social worker, as a person?
Yeah, supporting survivors with complex trauma, the trauma responses can vary. So some may be very withdrawn, and when they come to the safe house, they want to spend a lot of time sleeping and kind of recovering in that aspect. While others may not know how to regulate their emotions and can come with a lot of anger and fear, and it could be very like unpredictable at times. Um, Building trust is huge in this work, and it's not always linear. So understanding that one day you might have a great relationship, and another day you might have to rebuild that trust again. So burnout and secondary trauma, so just compassion fatigue is real, and making sure that my self-care is a priority and professional boundaries is also essential in this work, and making sure that I don't take the work home. Safety and security risks are also a concern that I face in this line of work. And also the residents also face that as well. And navigating the legal and bureaucratic systems. So accessing housing, employment, legal, healthcare, mental health, and the services can be very slow and limited. And then policies and limited funding can also restrict the available resources that I have to be able to provide for the women.
Yes, I imagine that caring for people who've been traumatized can linger and be traumatizing for you as well if you don't have those healthy habits in place for your work. And we need you. So I'm glad that you are adept at that. Um, what do you wish people understood about survivors of human trafficking?
Survivors are not defined by their past, but they're defined by their resilience and their strength and their potential. They're not to be blamed. Like stigma and blaming only adds to their trauma. And healing is a lifelong process. Recovery isn't linear. Survivors need empowerment, and freedom from trafficking is just the beginning. Survivors need education and job opportunities, safe housing, mental health care to really help rebuild their lives. And trauma affects everyone differently. So, respecting their healing process. Survivors are powerful advocates. So, when given the platform and support, survivors can lead efforts in shaping policies, raising awareness, and preventing future trafficking. Survivors are more than just what happened to them, and they deserve dignity, respect, and the chance to build a future free of from exploitation.
Yes, we work with some individuals who have gone on to become lived experience advocates, survivors who have spoken up about their experiences in the past and what they wish to see for the future and the needs of fellow survivors. And so giving them that voice is one of the most wonderful things that you do is allowing them to become something that they aspire to be in their futures, and helping other people along that path. What can people who sit outside of this work do to support both you and survivors of human trafficking?
Yeah, so education is huge, and educating yourself and others and learn about the realities of human trafficking, the different forms of human trafficking, challenging the myths and misconceptions that trafficking isn't just about kidnapping, sharing reliable information and raising awareness in your community. You can support survivor led and anti trafficking organizations, advocate for stronger laws and policies, uh, creating a safe space. So let's support trauma informed schools, healthcare, social services, and really listen and believe survivors, respect their experiences, prioritize their voices in advocacy and policy discussions.
Yeah, very great steps and tips. Thank you very much for sharing that. I know a lot of people want to help and just don't know how to get started. So those are great ideas. And also people can check us out at lifewaynetwork.org to see what we're up to on a regular basis. We have information there as well about human trafficking, how to get involved in the movement to fight trafficking on a local scale as well as a global scale, and ways to provide education in your own community. So we're very grateful for your work, very, very in awe of the things that you do and accomplish and achieve. And you're making a difference in the lives of so many people. So thank you, Sabrina, for the work that you do.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great to talk to you today.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.